This Ironheart is issue number 4, Legacy 23 it would be. Before we get into the comic, I saw on comichron.com that the book last month, February, sold for $14,000. Ugh. Considering that West Coast Avengers is also a book this month that was $14,000, it's getting canceled in a couple of issues. So it doesn't look very good for this. But there are cases where, like Squirrel Girl, they don't make much money from that. Ms. Marvel, they say that they make great digital sales, but I see that the trade paperbacks are sold in high volume, so that's always good. So if this could trade in high volume, it would continue. The comic review as we begin. Can you be quiet or are you gonna make noise?
You ruined what you're doing right now. I wouldn't have said a damn thing.
Everyone heard the door open when this video posts.
How
You're gonna hear that the
I'm
key.
about to come into the house, am I supposed to knock? Buzz in and say, hey, Chillmonger, are you making a video?
Yeah, you better say my name is Chillmonger.
You nerd. Go, keep your footage. Do whatever you want.
Let's open it up. Page 1 of this comic book has me wondering. She was never trained to fight. What's this over? She can't, and then it goes, training sequence interrupted. Oh, okay. So later on in the comic, like 10 months from now, when we see her whooping ass, we'll be able to say, well, that's obviously because she was training. She couldn't do that in the beginning of this comic series, but she's getting there. So she gets the phone call, that's what interrupted the training sequence, and the relationship with the Dean and Riri is building. Oh, it's getting more sour and more sour. He's got more people to show her off to, and she's not there. She's never in Massachusetts since issue number 1. She has left since then, and I don't think she's ever coming back. But they did her a solid back in Invincible Iron Man 595. Yeah, it's the top of my head. When the S.H.I.E.L.D. were confiscating her armor, and MIT said back then, yo, if that armor was created on our campus, which it was, it's material that she stole for that first prototype armor, the one that crash landed in her, it would be her second appearance, and that MIT protected her and put their foot down. Nah, take her back from S.H.I.E.L.D. It belongs to us. It's our property. So she owes them, and that's something that the mom says and calls attention to, because back in the day, her stepdad, his name is Gary, they mentioned in this comic, that he said something about you always got to own your stuff. That's why he bought that old hoopty, which is not an oxymoron, but you wouldn't call it an old hoopty. A hoopty's a hoopty. It's implied that it's old. She said, but maybe that's for the other reader, and fans like myself might already know that. Regardless, she said that the dad would always own his stuff, so he's the kind of guy who would have canned foods and a big supply of bottled water just in case something goes down, solar panel, all the 9 yards, the 10 yards. I don't play NFL football, but that's the kind of dude he is, and we get a lot of storytelling in this, even the visual storytelling of Riri Williams. She's over there organizing the wrenches and the tools as a super genius would. And there's a little moment where she's wearing what the welders wear to cover their face, and that's her Iron Man mask, and she's impersonating him. Is this before or after that popular kindergarten moment where the teacher tells her, you can't be a NASA? You know the one. I can't really tell her age in this picture, but that's that. Oh, there's also a mushy gushy part where it's about, you don't have to say my stepdad. He's the only dad I ever knew. Aww. Continuing with the comic. She was talking to her mom, and towards the end, it's like, yeah, I know, I love you, bye. She's protecting her from Midnight's Fire, the villain we met in the other comic, issue 3. And she's just like, yo, have a seat. And she's not tripped out by it. He's like, what's going on? She's like, yo, I'm a superhero, and I don't have a secret identity. So therefore, a day later, he shows up at her house. Like, you know what movie didn't do this? Shazam. Yeah, I mentioned Shazam. But this came to a logical explanation because of her status being a known superhero. You gotta protect your mom at all costs. It's something that Blade said in the Avengers issue that just happened to Robbie Ray as Ghost Rider. If you got anyone you love, get out of this game now. She is people don't know who Robbie Ray is as Ghost Rider. It is well known who she is as Ironheart. So she's got to. Okay, dude talks to her Midnight Fire, and she's like, chill. Yeah, don't worry about it. You want to pop? Give me your story. Tell me about these 10 rings. Is Riri returning to the dark side? She's not. You got to think of it this way. She's a super genius. Everything she has a motive and a reason and a purpose for it. I believe that she wants to soften at this moment. Soften him up. Yeah, how do I know about this terrorist group who, by the way, he says, even the folks that we're oppressing don't even know who we are. Like, they are ghosts among ghosts. So if that's the case, the only way she'll get information is by joining them and being a secret agent inside there. So he gives his story. He says the way to teach you about me is to go to my family. So his grandmother is this super, super evil woman. Her name was Tao, and back in Cambodia, his dad is this dude here, finds the grandma. Grandma says, I'll give you some abilities from the wellspring of power is what he called it. And it's like this cosmic power, that's all we get out of that. I'm wondering what it is, because like the Terrigen mist from the Inhumans is something that you can get powers from, but I think that's out of the picture. Mutant Gene is out of the picture now if you're reading Uncanny, but we know how comic books go. But it's nice to see another, source of superpowers. It's not like there's radioactive spiders and other animals ready to bite you. This is cool, wellspring of power. I hope it has legs and continues on. I spent a little bit too much time on that. So his dad, Midnight's Fire dad, met up with this old woman, and she said, take my daughter, and they have another kid, and that's who Midnight's Fire is. And this kid has powers. The superhero grab bag, as what's his name? That YouTuber. It'll say so right underneath the screen. But this YouTuber always calls it the super bag of grab bag of powers. Next, he grows up to be a dark guy. You see him over there blazing that building on fire and going away. He's evil, he's dark, solid. We got a lot of pages dedicated to this, but at least the artwork was really, really fire. I really like the artwork, so I'm not gonna diss it too much. But the book, again, is called Ironheart, and that's what I want to see when I read that. When I watch Detective Comics, that's a bad example. If his name was Batman, that would be a better example. But when I see the Avengers, I want the Avengers and not know, the Iron Fist from a million years ago. Give me the Avengers, give me the title. So she's casually up there talking to this dude, and it comes to the conclusion that he is in love with weapons. That's his religion, and even worships it. Says he worships weapons, from the samurai knights to the great warriors. That's his religion. And she's like, I have all the information I need, and decides that, I'm about to fight. She's the one who sparks the fight. Oh, by the way, speaking of great art, notice how in the picture of Riri, or Ironheart, the logo is missing and it's replaced by 10 rings. Ooh, a lot of detail. So good stuff. She snaps at him, puts her hands on his... look at the way it recoils. The visual storytelling, man. The way that it coils back up on her. How many times in this comic book have we seen how malleable and how the suit goes anywhere it wants to. Sometimes it can be laying here. Earlier in the comic, you can see it coil when she was talking to her mom. The limbs are actually exposed, and you can see it retracting into her back, into her core. Core? What do you call this? The torso. Her torso. So and even the comic book cover. Look at that. It's just everywhere. We learned without a writer saying a single word just what this suit can do. It's just like nanotechs in the Avengers Endgame movie. It's just like that. Good stuff. I'll get back to the page I was talking to. So she gets in a choke slam, choke position, and she says, "Who are you working with?" Well, he just told you who he was. I think you mean who else are you working with? But depending on the way that you emphasize with, who are you working with, then it's not a flaw from the comic book. I take things like that seriously. Moving on. So she shoots her little. It's a fight scene. Things happen. He dodges her the way a ninja would, even when she thinks she has him. He's got some flexible knees and knees are up in the jaw. He wins this battle. This battle is won by Midnight's Fire because Riri Williams is not a fighter. Every other time she's ever won a fight, it was by smarts or by governments or taking over governments. Like, she's always used this. But when it's hand to hand, thankfully she's wearing all that armor, and thankfully he's a merciful villain who actually believes, he really thinks that she'll join him. I say she's got to take advantage of it. The last page of the book, he pries open the armor and puts his 2 fingers on her, puts her to sleep. It's unclear how he does it, but he said to her before, "Because I see you, you're awe in the face of strength. Like me, you worship it. Perhaps you are too young to know, but I see it." Look at her she's just crushed. The 3 monitors are shattered. See, MIT, they're not gonna like that very much, Riri. You owe them, and you need them. And how are you gonna take care of Thanos if you can't even take care of Midnight's Fire? Who, shoot, this is a pretty, he's an unknown villain to me until now. I saw an interview with E-Viewing from C2E2 this weekend, where I also learned how to say Luciano Vecchio. It's actually how you pronounce the artist's name. And she said Midnight's Fire was an older villain, and I went on Wikipedia, and yeah, it's like some dude from Secret Warriors, some old book. Too old for me to go back to, because it wasn't like it was 1999. It was like back then. I don't like old art. I like new art, which is why I'm gonna pick up the trade. The color artist Matt Miller doesn't get praised from me enough. Like, he does a good ass job, because even when it was Kevin Lebranda in issue number 1, he did a damn good job. Oh, my point is that the artwork is the reason why we buy trade, why I do. If you look at my collection, it's always Ed McGuinness and big time people who I think are great, subjectively great. So I think, who's gonna complain with this kind of artwork? It's really good. Luciano Vecchio. I will give this comic book somewhere between an 8 and a 9. It's Ironheart. It was better than issue number 2, so I will give it a 9 out of 10. I know you were waiting with great anticipation for my rating. My name is Chill Manga. This week this whole month, I'm doing a countdown series to Avengers Endgame. 1 video a month. If you're into this, you're probably going to be into that. And if you're not, if you don't want to subscribe, I'll just see you next month for Ironheart issue number 5, God willing. My name again is Chill Manga. I'm being redundant. It's time to sign out from this video. I'm out of here like Vladimir.